So, but it's a good feeling. Content's a good feeling. Like, it's a good feeling. I can think, now I can tell you this, if you were to look back over your life and think, when's the last time I felt 100% content? There's probably not a whole lot of days like that. There's not, right, it's not a whole lot of days. I have a day that I can remember just as a young man. I used to surf, and it was like a December in Florida. December's not that cold, but I remember there was like it was good waves, and they were safe waves, meaning like, because I've surfed in big hurricanes and those are terrifying. It's not really fun, but it was fun, safe. It was quiet. It was sunset. I was alone. I was just sitting in the water, and I remember it was just like the perfect temperature. And I had that moment where I was like, this is the most content I've ever felt in my life. Didn't have, there was, of course I was 20, so I have no real problems, no real, like it doesn't matter, or 19 or something, like it didn't matter. Life wasn't stressful, no bills. And I was just sitting in the water and I was like, this is a good moment. And so I say that because it stuck in my mind so much, because I remember that was the moment I was really content. And so in our adult life, it's hard to find those days where it's like 100% content, 100% content. Like you said, especially when you're like, nowadays you're like, I'll be happy with like a moment of content. Like, it's that moment maybe where all the kids finally go to sleep and you're like, that's a good moment. Yeah. You get a minute. And then at 4 a.m., not so content, break your foot. So the problem is with contentment is that it's a pursuit that happens, is we are trying to find contentment. We want to find contentment. And which is kind of like an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense, because if you work hard to find contentment, in a sense, you're not content in finding it. It's like you're working to not find it, which is pretty hard to do. And so basically, if you make $30,000 a year, you can get an apartment, but you need to make $40,000 a year to get another room in the apartment, or $50,000 a year to get a small house. And then you look next door and you're like, well, that's a bigger house. I need to make $70,000 a year. And then you look across the street and you're like, well, I'd like to live in a better neighborhood, and I need to make $80,000 a year. And you're like, well, I need a new car. Like, it's a constant pursuit and increase of things. And to get that money, you have to then work another job, work 2 jobs, or three, go back to school, get another certification, get another qualification, whatever it may be. And so we kind of live in that. Now, in America, it's a capitalist country, which is a positive thing in the sense that when you are born in America, you really can be anything that your brain and your body can make you. Obviously, I'm not smart enough to be an astronaut. I know that everybody says, I'd be an astronaut. I know that I'm not an astronaut. Those guys are, or a physicist, whatever. But as far as my brain and my physical body can take me, I can go there in America. I make whatever money that I can make more money if I need to. I can constantly pursue those things. But the problem is that when you live in that type of society, it can become your obsession to make more, get more, earn more, do more. It actually can become like a religion. In fact, as you begin to, if you've ever interacted with anybody in the corporate world, you realize, oh, this is their religion. Like, this is all they will lie, they'll cheat, they'll step on whoever they need to step on. Like, they become almost like sociopathic narcissists who say, I'll do whatever it takes to get to that next level. It becomes their obsession. And so that constant pursuit of things is actually not healthy. It's not physically healthy. It's not mentally healthy. People are having heart attacks at huge rates. Women now are actually starting to match men at heart attacks because they're stepping into the corporate world and pursuing that pursuit, that chase. And so originally it was just men. Now the ladies are joining them in that stress because this constant draw of more and more. And the whole goal is to be content. The whole goal is to get somewhere where they say, finally, I have everything I want, have everything I need, I'm happy. But they're never going to find it. They're going to be 98 years old and going, what could I have had? In fact, I used to work at a hospital when I was 20 at the front desk. I didn't do so well at that job because I didn't smile enough. I was supposed to be welcoming when people came in, and I was friendly, but I just didn't smile. And they would always be like, you got to smile more. And I'm like, this is my face. This is just how I look. I didn't get such a good review. But I had a woman who came down, and her husband had passed away, just passed away. And she came down, and she said, I was like, how you doing? And she's like, oh, he just passed away, which, you hardly know what to say, especially at 20. You're like, I don't know. And she said, don't if you want to go to Hawaii, go to Hawaii with like basically let me know all the things she wished she would have had, wish she would have done. And it was sweet because you could tell that she really loved him and cared about him, but also it was kind of sad because it sounded like they missed out on some things and doing some things. And it's like, I wonder if the pursuit of contentment actually ruined their contentment. They never got to have it. And you know, I mean, where you're working, you know, you work with people that are aging, and some of them have earned a lot of money in their life because living there is not expensive, it's not cheap. They've earned a lot of money in their life, and that doesn't mean that they're happy, doesn't mean that they're content because they've worked their whole life to get to there. And you're like, you never have quite found it. And so it can be a really big problem, especially when it becomes our religion, our focus, because what it can do is it can become our God. We actually will pursue it so much that it can become our God. Not meaning that we bow down and worship our pursuit of things. It means that we will put it above anything else in our life, because anything that we put above anything else in our life is our God. Children can be your God. If you're like, that's more important than anything else in my whole life, they can become like your God, where you're like, that's my whole focus. But so anything can become your God, but specifically, it's very easy for the pursuit of more to become our God. And so Paul said this. He said, not that I speak in regard to need, for I've learned whatever state I'm in to be content. He said, I know how to be abased, that's which means basically to be brought very low. I know how to be abound, which we all hope for. We all love abounding. That means being very high, financially, provision, everything we have. Everywhere in all things I've learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. And that is the goal that we want to get to, where we are so content that when we're hungry, physically hungry, we say, I'm okay. This is what I'm supposed to be at. When we have lots of food on the table, we say, I'm okay. This is what I'm supposed to be at. When we are in whatever state we're in, we're there. Whenever John the Baptist was preaching to all of the people, and one of the soldiers asked them, what should we do? And this is what he said. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that one. He said, the soldiers asked him, saying, what shall we do? And he told them this, do not intimidate anyone or accuse falsely, and be content with your wages. Now that one is like, whoa, John. Content with our wages. I got to work on being content with my own wages, right? Like, if you were to say to me, do you make enough? Most of us would be like, no. Or do you want more? Yes. He's not even telling them, don't fuss about it. He's saying, be content with your wages, meaning be happy with what you make. And I got to tell you, again, in our Western American society, the answer is no for everybody at all times. You could ask the CEO who's making $20 million a year, are you content? And they'd be like, no, I wish I could make more. So being content is something that is important. So this is the question. Is it bad to work hard and earn more? Of course not. Of course not, right? It's not bad to do those things. The only danger is if it takes you away from God or your purpose from God. That's the danger in it. Nothing wrong with working hard. Nothing wrong with earning more. There's nothing wrong with having a better car or a bigger house, as long as that thing doesn't step in between you and Jesus. That's the issue. So here's the question that you kind of have to ask yourself. Have you ever known anybody in your exact status of life, meaning they weren't born into money, they weren't born into a million advantages, almost, you look across, you're like parallel, we're not the same, but me and them went to school together, we had the same sort of life, and they progressed financially in a different place than you, and you're like, what did I do wrong? Or other way around, where you progressed in a different financial place than them, and you're like, what did they do wrong? And sometimes we're like, I don't get it. Like, it seems like to me sometimes when I look around the world, I look and I say, what made that person become a billionaire and that person become a thousandaire? And they both went to the same school, they both went to the same college, they both got the same degree. Like, what is it that is happening? I actually believe that it's God. God knows what we can handle, what's best for us. He knows what is best for us. And this is difficult, but if you think about it like a good parent, it's not as difficult. So if your child said, I would like a motorcycle, you would say, that's not best for you. I can't give you a motorcycle. If your child said, can I have a $20 bill? Now, when they're 15, you might say, I think you can handle it. When they're 5, you don't hand them large cash sums because they lose it, it falls apart, or if they happen to get into a dollar store, it's all gone. They got $20 worth of things. And so a good parent knows what is best for the progression of their child, what's healthiest for them. So it can be, now, as adults, it's like, but I'm not a child. But to God, who knows all things, we are like children. So he looks at us and he says, to me, Ryan, I know that you might be capable, brain-wise, physically-wise, to do these things in life, but I need you to be here in life because this will keep you where I need you. This will keep you close to me. This will keep you from going beyond me. This will keep you walking in the proper realm. This will keep your marriage. This will keep your family. This will keep your role. We can, now, outside of God, we don't know those things. He knows all those things. We don't know those things. So sometimes it's like, well, I want more. And he's like, I need you to be content. I have you here on purpose. Now, sometimes it's for a season. The truth is, in 10 years, I don't know where we'll all be financially. I don't know. Maybe one of y'all will be millionaires in 10 years. I don't know. That's true too. Be in heaven. Maybe, and the truth is, maybe one day I may not have a house anymore in 10 years. But if I trust the Lord and I say, God, I want you to pick what's best for me, then I have to learn how to be content with whatever he places me in. Now, this is the thing that people, not y'all, because you are all very hardworking, that people do. They will use contentment as a sign to be lazy. Like, so what if I just lay around my house and let come what may come? Well, the Bible's pretty clear about that. This is what it says. If anyone does not provide for his own, especially for those in his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So if you claim to be a Christian and you don't take care of your family, sorry, you're not a Christian. You're not. What's the other one? It says, this also, for even when we were with you, we commanded you, if anyone will not work, they will not eat. So this was a sign, this was before the days of having like governmental support. There's no government. Basically, they said, if you don't eat, if you don't work, you ain't eating. Now, of course, if there are people that were disabled or the elderly, their families took care of them and people could take care of them. But in general, for a healthy person that didn't work, they were like, sorry. So there's no proof in the Bible at all where laziness was accepted. Basically, if you're going to be lazy, you don't get to eat. Well, I only have enough for one meal. Well, then eat one meal. That's how it sort of was. So there's nothing to do with laziness. It's about being content with where we are in God. So the question is, how hard do we push then? I don't know what to do, God. I don't want to be lazy, but I don't want to push past beyond what you want. So what do I do? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. And it's asking him what to do. It's not that hard. It's saying this, God, I've got a job. I have an opportunity for a second job, and it could increase my income. It could increase whatever it may be. Should I take it? And then listening for him. It's the saying, I've been offered a promotion. Should I take it? And answering him. If he says yes, rock the promotion, make the money, enjoy whatever he's blessing you with. If he says no, that's when you can say, I can be content with that. Should I go back to school for a degree or a certification? That's a tough one. I'll tell you this. I got a degree in 2007. It was a degree in psychology, which is not a great degree for a job, but luckily I was blessed to be a teacher because you really only just need any 4-year degree, you can become a teacher. So luckily blessed I was able to be a teacher because there wasn't a lot of opportunity. And last year I finished a second major in something else, obviously, not teaching, for an opportunity to possibly earn more money. But it was tough because I went to the Lord before and I said, God, I would like to do this degree. Can I go do it? And I felt like he was like, okay. So when we moved up here, though, things changed a little bit in my life, new purpose, new everything. And there's a man in my life who he's a minister and he speaks into my life. He's my pastor and bishop. I call him if I have a question, and I didn't want to call him about this because I had 1 year left to finish this, and because I didn't want him to say no. I didn't want him to say, God has told you not to do this, right? And he hears from the Lord, and so I trust him, and he's not the type of man who would tell you unless he heard from the Lord, this is the answer. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to ask him. And then I was like, you don't want to ask him because you don't want to hear no. So then I was like, now you need to ask him because you're avoiding it on purpose. And so with 1 year left of this, I called him and I was like, you know what? I need to ask you, do you feel anything? And he's like, no, go ahead. It's all right. If the opportunity arises, you can, whatever, we talked about it for a minute. He felt peace. And I was like, sweet, that's cool. But if he had said no, the Lord doesn't want you to do that. I feel from the Lord he doesn't want you to do that. If he said I need to pray about it and talk to the Lord about it, then the question is, could I be content with what the Lord wanted me to do? Or would I have been fussy? Or would I have said, I'm doing it anyway? Or would I have said, well, I won't do it for a little while? Or would I have been content? It's difficult to be content whenever things are just within your grasps. When you're right there and you're like, it's right there. And God's like, nah, bud, don't do it. And you're like, oh, it's so close. It's very, very difficult. So as long as we ask him, and I'll tell you this just so you know ahead of time, and I know you see it on social media all the time, the answer is not always yes. And everybody posts about, everything's always yes. God bless me with another this. And I'm like, has he ever told you no? That's a good sign. If you've never been told no by God, you're probably not hearing from God. Because just like a good parent, sometimes you tell your kids yes, and sometimes you tell your kids no, because you know it's best for them, right? That's what you do. Sometimes, they can have a soda, because it's like, you know what, it's lunchtime, it's okay, we're having a little celebration, have a soda. But at midnight, before bed, they don't get a soda. You know what's best for them, that's what you do. You take care of them. So the answer is, if God's a good father, he tells you no sometimes, so can we be content with that? And so the Bible really clears it up when he says this, godliness with contentment is great gain. That's the ultimate thing to gain, contentment. Imagine this though. Imagine this feeling, that feeling I had when I was sitting on the water, in the sunset. What if I could have that in my whole life, no matter what was happening in my life? That's true contentment. That's what is offered. You have to ask God to help you be content. Just so you know, you can't be content on your own. You say, God, can you help me be content in this situation? Lord, I don't like what's going on in my world right now. Can you help me be content? God, my bills are higher than my income or very close, and I'm a little stressed out. But this is where I'm at, and can you help me to be content at this moment? He can help you. It is a great gain. He said, for we brought nothing into the world, and certainly we can carry nothing out, which is certainly true. We don't get to carry anything out. And having food and clothing, with these we shall be content. That is not very American, right? No. To just be content with food and clothing. No, I need more clothing. I need more food. And I need more of everything else, right? Like, absolutely. But those who desire to be rich, they fall into temptation and a snare or a trap, and into many foolish and harmful lusts which drown men in persecution and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Not money is not evil. The love of money is evil. People always say, money's the root of evil. No, money's not the root of evil. Money is just a way to pay for things. The love of money is the root of all evil, for which some have strayed from their faith for their greediness and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Basically saying it has become detrimental for that. So that's how it clears it up. Now, there is one thing that we cannot be content with, and that's it. One thing we cannot be content with. One thing that we can say, I'm not happy with it. Sorry, I want more of it. And that is our closeness and relationship with Jesus. That is the one thing that we can be like, I want more. I'm not satisfied. In Exodus, one of the 10 Commandments says this, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor the male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. Covet means to desire earnestly, meaning I want that bad. Now, part of the problem with wanting something bad enough is that oftentimes you'll You can go through some devious ways to get it, so it can be dangerous for that. But this is the opposite of contentment. Covet means I want more. I want what they have. So we're supposed to be content. But in the New Testament, this is what it says when he's talking about the spiritual giftings that are poured out from God. It says, but earnestly desire, in other translations, it says covet. But covet the best gifts, and yet I show you a more excellent way. So we're not supposed to covet the things of this earth, but we are supposed to covet the things of heaven. That's okay to covet. Later it says, therefore, brethren, desire earnestly, or covet, to prophesy, and do not forbid to speak with tongues. So the one thing that we can pursue constantly is Jesus, more. We can have more of Jesus. So just like we don't want to say, when I get in my car, my 2007 Santa Fe, that you can't even tell if it's a Santa Fe because the back of the tags fell off, and for a while it just said Santa, and then the Santa fell off, and I think Hyundai's still on there, and my steering wheel, who my wife does not like to touch because it's pretty sticky. I don't know what's on it exactly, but it's just from dirt. I just drive, I hop in my car, drive to Lowe's. It's like, it's grimy, it's peeling off. It's a car. It's my car that I drive, working. I just jump in the car and jump out of the car, and it's working. There's stains all over the front seats, back seats, everything. I get in that car and I drive past someone who has a 2026 Dodge Ram, amazing truck. And I can't say that I'm glad I'm in this thing compared to that thing, right? But you know what? The Lord blessed me with a car that keeps running. It just keeps going. And so I should be content. But with Jesus, I should say this. This morning, Jesus, I had this much of you. It's not enough. I want more of you tonight. Yesterday, I was close to you, Jesus. I want to be closer to you tonight. Or today. I want to be closer today. And tomorrow, I want more. I'm going to have more and more and more. This is something that happens to a lot of people in churches. There's a beautiful song. There's a beautiful spirit that's in the room. His spirit's in the room. Sometimes we can even almost feel like something is powerful in here. There's a lot of people that feel God's spirit, but we've got to say, you know what, God, I can feel your spirit, but I want your spirit to live in me, because he says that he can reside in us. He can live in us. Many times people covet the things of this world, but they don't covet the things of God. They don't say, I want more of God. They say, I want a better truck, a better house, a better everything. What about God? I'm happy on Sundays. I just do my one thing on Sundays. I pray at night every now and then. We have all the things backed up, reversed. We should say, this life doesn't matter so much because my car, which is embarrassing for me to take my wife out in, at one point was beautiful. It was a brand new vehicle. It was perfect off the showroom floor. I didn't buy it that way, but it was perfect and it was wonderful. And now it becomes this, everything just slowly decays. But we chase those things that decay. Instead, though, we should say, I'm going to chase the things that won't ever decay. I want more of you, Jesus. I want more relationship with you. I want more closeness with you. When I prayed yesterday, Jesus, I felt you. I'm going to pray again today. I want more. I want more of you. We are allowed to covet and pursue and chase and chase and chase and chase and chase more of him. That's what we have to do. Because if we ever get content with where we are with Jesus, and then we are not content with the things of the world, and we chase things of the world, we will lose him. We'll just chase. He'll say, I'm right here, and we'll be like, I can't stop. I got to go. But if we can do the other way, where the world says, I'm right here, come chase more, and you say, God's blessed me with enough. I'm chasing him right now. The Bible says that if we pursue him first, all the other things of this world will be added unto us. If we chase him, everything else he takes care of. He takes care of it. So what I'd like to do right now is we're going to pray that the Lord would help us to be content, because it's hard to be content. Because again, in America, everybody is pursuing the next awesome thing. The commercials that show the next best car, the next best house, the next best neighborhood, the next best dog. People buy very expensive animals. They always want the next best everything. And even though we might say, it doesn't bother me, there are days where it does. Me, anyway, where you're like, I wish I could have more. So I got to ask the Lord, Lord, help me to be content with what I have. You've blessed me. What you know is best for me, I'm content with that. But then I also got to say, but the one thing I don't have to be content with is you. I want more. I want more and more and more. So let's go ahead and pray. Jesus,